First being unlearning. A lot of us think of young people as troublemakers, and from the Southern Africa region where I'm from, a particular politician called us keyboard warriors because all we do is fight on Twitter and social media, and we didn't participate in liberation wars. And that links to some of the stereotypes that we have that allow us to discard young people somewhere within the process. So one of the key issues that we can actually look at systemic integration of youth and women is to view them as key stakeholders. In that way, we cannot discard them on the process because we understand that they are integral to the implementation of various projects that we have here. So now, great as that may be, we need to move the conversation beyond just population compositions, because that also links to tokenism. And the reason I'm saying this is that when we have spoken about population compositions, when we're at a meeting, we fulfill a quota that says we're represented young people. But when we move from just population compositions and we actually move to value-driven conversations, then we speak at the value that young people bring to the table. And not just young people, but also women. And then overall, I'm very grateful that the previous speaker spoke about unconstitutional transfer of power. And this does not occur in a vacuum. We have seen in several countries young people participating in movements. In the case of Nigeria, we're speaking about NSAS. In the case of South Africa, there's Maspo movement, and other movements that have erupted across the continent. So one of the key issues that we are seeing is that young people are not just not participating. They found alternative ways of participating. So our conversation should be, how do we bring them back so that they participate in invited spaces where we can sit at a dialogue like this and discuss and say, this is how we do development, and not going to the street and destroying infrastructure, which is what we have seen across the continent. And finally, to just touch on some of the final aspects of the question, which is systemic integration of youth and women in development processes. It is that we cannot speak of systemic integration and changing how we do development without speaking of accountability. Now, the most intellectual response would be accountability to the legal frameworks, accountability to legislations that have been passed. But we also need to speak of accountability to each other as human beings and accountability to humanity. And I think that on its own will bring ethical leadership, not just to young people themselves, but also to the various stakeholders that we engage with.